In this lesson, we will import our data for analysis, then run our first basic fuse analysis. We're going to learn about the different ways we can slice and dice our data for analysis. So, we'll start with the ribbon analysis. Select the Acumen Fuse icon and choose Sample Workbook from recent workbooks. All of the linked files for the sample workbook will be loaded into Acumen Fuse. We have the project file for initial plan and 2 snapshots for 6-month update and current schedule. Now select the S2 Diagnostics tab and look at the interface window that opens. Then click the Fuse button to view that data. Before we look at the different types of analysis, we should understand how to use the Metrics tab on the left of the Analyzer panes. You will see 3 Metrics tabs. CA metrics, these are your control account metrics, WP metrics, work package metrics, and metrics. This is the library of available metrics to run our project analyses. We will discuss metrics and their customization in more detail later on in the course. But for now, we need to understand how to add metrics to a view or how to remove them from a view. If you click the tab called Metrics, a panel will slide out to the right, displaying a list of all available metrics that can be used. The metric groupings can be expanded or collapsed by clicking on the plus or minus signs. By default, the panel will slide away when you're not using the metric lists. If you want it to remain visible, you can select the little pin icon in the top right of the metrics pane. If you right-click on any of the metrics, you will be given 4 options for adding the metric. Add to Ribbon Analyzer, Add to Phase Analyzer, Add to Intersection Analyzer, and Add to All Analyzers. So, right-click on the metric for negative float. You'll note that some of the options are grayed out. This is because they are already being used in the Ribbon or Phase Analyzer views. Now expand the advanced grouping by clicking the plus sign. Then expand the duration grouping. Then right-click on remaining duration. All of the options will be available. As an example, right-click on remaining duration and select Add to All Analyzers. Then click the Fuse button to display the metrics. If the metrics panel was unpinned, it would have closed automatically. You'll see that the metric has been added to the Ribbon Analyzer on the top right, the Phase Analyzer on the bottom left. The Intersection Analyzer bars will be visible in the top left of the Ribbons pane, and the metric will be identified in the top left just under the Project Snapshot title. Now, to remove a Ribbon or Phase Analyzer metric, right-click on the metric title, then click Remove. So let's do that for the remaining duration metric in the Ribbon and Phase Analyzers. So in the Ribbon Analyzer, right-click the title for remaining duration metric and click Remove from the drop-down. Then we'll do the same for the Phase Analyzer. Now, to remove the intersection metric, click the intersection metric title in the top left corner, then click on the X to remove the metric. You'll note that the metric for remaining duration has now been removed from all of the analyses. Okay, let's look at ribbon analysis. To get started with our ribbon analysis, let's look at the data in the Ribbon Analyzer pane. Currently, in the Ribbon Analyzer pane, we have the ribbons showing that are based on the metric criteria for schedule quality. From our ribbons views at the bottom, we have a wide choice of standard and user-defined metrics that we can apply. You'll see that for the initial plan, the missing logic field in the Ribbon Analyzer is yellow. There are 11 activities affected, or 21%. Click on the title on the left for Initial Plan. This will give us a graphical view in the ribbon of all activities in the initial plan. All of these activities will be shown in the activity browser in the bottom right. You'll see that 54 activities are listed. Now click the little home icon and the activities will no longer be displayed because the view has been reset. Now we may want to show these results graphically. So we do this by selecting the Charts button in the top ribbon group. If no metrics have already been selected, it's likely that the chart window will be blank. Click the Charts drop-down and select Stack Column, Show Markers and Show Legend. Then click the Charts button. Now let's select our first metric header. So select Missing Logic. You'll see 3 columns are displayed for missing logic for each of the project ribbons. On the right is the legend, and the number of activities with missing logic are shown in each column. Now let's add data for the number of lags for each project. Click on the header for number of lags, and the information will be graphically represented. One more, click on the number of leads, and again the data will be shown. So now we have a stacked column chart for our projects. Deselect the Charts button in the Ribbon Analyzer group to return to the metrics view. Now, when applying ribbon analysis, there are specific rules that apply. Metrics are applied to all activities within a ribbon. The timescale for ribbons is ignored, i.e., all activities within a ribbon are evaluated. Projects and snapshots are included individually in an analysis. Work, duration and costs are dependent on a time phase, therefore they are not prorated across a ribbon. Now let's have a look at a simple example of ribbon analysis. We're going to analyze the 6-month update. Now we want to only look at the 6-month update, so double-click on the left-hand heading for the 6-month update. This action will isolate the 6-month update so that no other ribbons are visible in the Ribbons pane. Next, we will group the fields by CAM. So select the Fields pull-down and choose the first option, Selected Field. Then select General CAM from the list. We will need to click the Fuse button again. We're going to refer to this as ribbonizing. So ribbonize by CAM. Now you'll see the ribbons for the 3 CAMs. Double-click on Jane Mayer to isolate her activities. We're going to ribbonize by contractor. So select the Fields pull-down and choose Selected Field, General, Contractor. Then ribbonize by clicking the Fuse button. So what is the number of lags for ACOM? The answer is 3 lags, or 50%. You'll see the breadcrumb trail on the left of the ribbons, so we will reset the workspace by clicking the Home icon in the left pane. This will reset the view back to the Contractors view for the 6-month update. So click on the Projects button and then click Fuse to reset all of the projects. This time we're going to isolate the current schedule by double-clicking its title. Now ribbonize by location. So click the Fields drop-down and choose Selected Field, General, Location. Then ribbonize the view. 4 ribbons for different locations will now be displayed. Next, we're going to create a line chart for the lags. So from the pull-down on the Charts button, select Line and make sure that Show Markers is selected. Deselect the option for Show Legend. Click the Charts button to view the Ribbon Analyzer pane. If any of the headings are already selected, deselect the headings so that only the heading for number of lags is visible. Now add missing logic to the graph. Then go back and change the graph to a stacked column. Then add a legend. You'll see the legend to the right of the graph. Deselect the Charts button to turn the chart off. Then reset the ribbons by first clicking the Home icon in the left pane, then clicking the Projects button. Click the Fuse icon at the top left and close the workbook. Do not save the file. In the next lesson, we will run a phase analysis. In this lesson, we'll learn about the phase analyzer and run our first phase analysis. Select the Acumen Fuse icon and choose Sample Workbook from recent workbooks. All of the linked files for the sample workbook will be loaded into Acumen Fuse. We have the project file for initial plan and 2 snapshots for 6-month update and current schedule. Now select the S5 Diagnostics tab and look at the interface window that opens. Click the Fuse button to view that data. Before getting started with our phase analysis, let's look at the data in the Phase Analyzer pane. Currently, in the Phase Analyzer pane, we have the metric criteria for schedule quality showing. From our ribbon views at the bottom, we have a wide choice of standard and user-defined metrics that we can apply. Now in the phases timeline, select the year 2010. Then in the Phase Analyzer, for 2010, look at missing logic. It is red and shows that 8 activities are affected, or 38%. By default, the project initial plan will be selected. So, for the initial plan, you will see that all of the activities during 2010 will now be displayed in both the ribbon and the activity browser in the right bottom pane. 22 activities during 2010. In the Phase Analyzer pane, you will see all of the metric data for the initial plan in 2010. Now click on the snapshot ribbon for the 6-month update for 2010. The cell will be highlighted in pale yellow. You'll see that 21 activities are displayed for 2010 in both the ribbon and the activity browser. However, the data in the Phase Analyzer will remain unchanged. It still shows the data for the initial plan. So how do we view snapshot data in the Phase Analyzer? We first have to isolate the snapshot. Let's isolate the 6-month update by double-clicking its header, then select the phase for 2010. All of the metric data in the Phase Analyzer and Activity Browser will now be displayed for the 6-month update. Note, we will discuss the Activity Browser in detail in a later lesson. Click on the Home icon to clear the ribbon and Activity Browser. Now, when applying phase analysis, there are specific rules that apply. When projects and snapshots are displayed together in the ribbons pane, only the project will be included in the metric analysis. When snapshots are isolated, they will be shown in the metric analysis. Only activities that touch the phase boundaries are included in the metric analysis, and duration, cost and work are prorated across the panes. Let's now have a look at a simple example of phase analysis. We're going to analyze the 6-month update. Make sure that the sample workbook is open in the left pane, if it is not already open. Select the S5 Diagnostics tab, then click the Fuse button if necessary. Now we only want to look at the 6-month update, so double-click on the left-hand heading for 6-month update to isolate it. We're going to set a custom date interval from the 1st of February 2012 to the 28th of December 2012. So in the Phases group, click on the Start Date pull-down and select Specific Date, then choose 1st of February 2012. Then click the pull-down for the Finish Date and select Specific Date. Then choose 28th of December 2012. So we've selected the date interval. Now from the interval drop-down, set the time interval to months. Then click the Fuse button. All of our time phases will now be displayed as months. In the Phases group, click the Charts pull-down and select a stacked bar chart with markers and legend. Then click the Charts button to display the stacked bar chart. Display the chart for critical activities. Add number of lags to the chart by clicking the number of lags metric header in the phase analyzer. Now turn off the chart display. Reset the dates by clicking the button for reset dates in the phases group. Then reset the ribbons by clicking the home icon. Let's now have a look at a simple example of phase analysis. We're going to analyze the 6-month update. Now, we only want to look at the 6-month update, so double-click on the left-hand heading to isolate 6-month update. Then click the Fuse button to view the analysis. Now, this time we're going to set the phase interval to quarters. So from the Phases group, select the Interval drop-down and select Quarters. Click Fuse again to view the analysis. What we have done is time slice the ribbon by quarters. Now let's display a stacked column chart for our data. We want to show missing logic. So from the Charts pull-down, select Stacked Column. We won't worry about showing a legend, so deselect Show Legend. Then click the Charts button. Make sure that missing logic is selected in the phase analyzer and deselect all metric headings. So which quarter has the highest missing logic? Answer: first quarter 2010. Deselect the Charts button to turn the chart off. Now, what we're going to do next is add a different ribbon view to our analyzers. So, in the bottom Ribbon Views pane, select Baseline Compliance from the Ribbon Views, then click the Fuse button. Now this time, we will isolate the current schedule. So double-click its heading in the Ribbons pane. Let's plot a stacked area graph of start compliance versus finish compliance. So in the Charts pull-down in the Phases group, select Stacked Area, then click the Charts button to display the graph. Which year shows the highest finish baseline compliance? The answer is 2012. Deselect the Charts button, then click the Home icon to reset the buttons. Click the Fuse icon at the top left and close the workbook. Do not save the file. In the next lesson, we will learn about intersection analysis. In this lesson, we will learn about the intersection analyzer and run our first intersection analysis. So select the Acumen Fuse icon and choose Sample Workbook from recent workbooks. All of the linked files for the sample workbook will be loaded into Acumen Fuse. We have the project file for initial plan and 2 snapshots for 6-month update and current schedule. Now select the S2 Diagnostics tab and look at the interface window that opens. Click the Fuse button to view the data. The intersection analyzer is the most comprehensive of the 3 analyzers that we have discussed so far. It can pinpoint exceptions within ribbons and phases combined. Similarly to ribbon and phase analysis, results can be shown in both a tabular and graphical format. Intersection analysis combines the ribbon analysis and the phase analysis into a single metric. Now we need to remember that we can only report the results of one metric at a time. The name of the metric being used will be shown in the top left of the ribbons pane, just under the title. If we add a new metric to the intersection analyzer, it will replace the existing metric. For each ribbon and phase intersection, the metric will be calculated, and the result will be shown above the project or snapshot ribbons. So how do we add an intersection metric to a ribbon view? To do this, we will click on the Metrics tab over to the left. The Metrics pane will slide out to the right. Now right-click on Missing Logic. From the drop-down, the intersection option is available. All of the other options will be grayed out because they are already present in one of the analyzer views. Click on Add to Intersection Analyzer, then click Fuse. In the Ribbons pane, you will see the intersections for each of the loaded projects and snapshots. At the top of the left-hand pane, you will see the title of the missing logic metric just under the pane heading. So we have selected the intersection metric for missing logic. Now look at the intersections for the 6-month update. You'll see the following missing logic intersections by phase. 2010, 7 activities. 2011, 2 activities, and so on. Now let's add a new metric, so click on the Metrics tab. This time right-click the metric for critical. Go ahead and select Add to Intersection Analyzer. Then look at the top of the left-hand pane. You'll note that the metric for critical has replaced the previous metric for missing logic. Click on the intersection metric and then delete it by clicking the cross to the right of the metric name. Now, as with ribbon and phase analysis, there are specific rules that apply. Projects and snapshots will be included in the analysis. Only one metric at a time can be viewed in the intersection analyzer. Only activities that touch the phase boundaries are included. Duration, cost and work are prorated across the panes. Let's run through a simple example of intersection analysis. We're going to analyze the 6-month update. We are in the S2 Diagnostics tab window. Now, we want to only look at the 6-month update, so double-click on the left-hand heading for 6-month update to isolate it. Next, we will ribbonize by location. So in the Fields pull-down, select Selected Field General Location, then click the Fuse button. The 4 locations and their ribbons will be displayed in the Ribbons pane. Click the Metrics tab on the left, then right-click Logic Density and add it to the Intersection Analyzer, then click Fuse. So now we have logic density showing at the top left in the intersection metric name field. You'll see the intersections in the Ribbons pane for each of the locations. Now in the top menu, click the Charts pull-down in the Intersections group. Then choose a line graph. Then click the Intersection Chart button to view the intersection chart. Add all of the locations by selecting each location in turn. So this graph currently will be displaying logic density data for each of the 4 locations. Leave offshore selected and deselect the other 3 locations. Now let's change the graph to a stacked column. So from the intersection charts pull down, select stacked column. This time select show legend. On analysis, you'll see that the logic density for offshore is 0 in 2010, 1.8 in 2011, 2.31 in 2012, and 1.5 in 2013, and so on. Turn off the intersection chart by clicking the Charts button. Then click on the house icon in the Ribbons pane to reset the locations ribbons. Lastly, remove the logic density intersection metric by clicking the X in the upper left pane. Now click the Projects button to view our project in snapshots again. Then click the Fuse button. Now we're going to run through an intersection analysis exercise. What we're going to do here is isolate the 6-month update, then look at the total costs by phase for detailed design. So the first step is to isolate the 6-month update by double-clicking on the ribbon title header. Now we want to ribbonize this project by WBS name so that we can view the different WBS levels. So click the Fields pull-down, then click Selected Field General WBS Name. We're going to create separate ribbons for each WBS. So from the Fields pull-down, select Discrete. Now you'll see separate ribbons for all of the different WBS levels. Now isolate Detailed Design by double-clicking its header. Next, from the Metrics tab on the left, scroll down to the Advanced group and expand it. Then locate the Costs group and expand it. Now right-click on the Total Cost metric and click Add to Intersection Analyzer. Then click Fuse to view the data. So What are the total costs for detailed design in 2010 and 2011? The answer is $6,085,714 and $7,914,286. Let's create a column chart to view the results. So in the intersection group, select the Charts pull-down and choose Column. Then click the Charts button to view the results. You'll see the results in the display window. Deselect the Charts button to turn off the graph. Then click the Home icon to reset the ribbons to WBS names. Then click the Projects button to display all projects again. Lastly, click the Acumen Fuse icon in the top left and click Close. Don't save the workbook. In the next lesson, we will learn about comparison analysis.